Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Tuesday and it's 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I want to give you all a hearty thank you for tuning in and being a part of what we do over here on the Ask Dr. Ron show. I tell you, we're going to have a great show today. Now, this is what I want you to do. If you're interested in understanding more about behind the scenes of the sports world, you definitely want to get on the phone, call your kids, your grandkids, anybody that you think might be interested in understanding how the sports world works. Okay, we got a great show. We're going to give you time to get on the phone and go reach out to somebody and give them a call and tell them, hey, tune in. This is a good show today. So, as always, I like to give you all a shout out to my mentor, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt and I have been traveling in life together for 30 plus years. And out of the 30 plus years that we've been traveling together, he has been a blessing to both me and my family, as well as I have been a blessing to him and his family. I always talk about my mentor. A lot of people say, well, why do you talk about your mentor so much? Because I want you to understand the value of a mentor. A mentor is someone who has lived in life long enough to be able to help you navigate through all the twists and turns and bumps and bruises in life. They can help point you in the right direction, help you overcome, somebody that will pray for you, somebody to help motivate you. So you all need to understand the value. Sometimes people say, oh, well, the first 3 or 4 minutes of the first show is all you got. Well, if you don't get nothing else out of this show, get a mentor. Get somebody that you trust, that you can listen to, that you can help navigate you through life. Then after you get a mentor, then I want you to get a show so you can shout your mentor out. Celebrate them as much as you can because they are definitely valuable in your life, okay? And I got several. I ain't got just one. I got plenty of them. I want to invite you guys to join me at ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, I want you to browse around, check out some of my advertisers, people that help make these shows possible, okay? I'm going to talk about a few of them today. The first one is Serve Synergy. Serve Synergy is helping people understand the solar panel industry. Now, they have evolved so much that they are teaching people to be technicians, how to get certified, how to do everything involved in the solar industry today, okay? Once you get certified as a technician, they're helping you find jobs where you can work as an independent contractor doing solar projects. If you are a person that wants solar energy, solar panels on your home, they can help you navigate through the contracts and all the foolishness in the solar energy world. So you definitely want to reach out to them, tell them you heard about it on the show. All of the flyers and banners that are on my website, if you click on them, they'll take you right over to their website so that you can go over there and get in touch with them directly and say, hey, I need some information, and they'll be more than happy to help you. Port Again Sam. Now, Port Again Sam brings in some of the best wines and spirits from all over the world. And I tell you, exclusive stuff. If you don't know about Port Again Sam, you need to find out so you can find out what your new favorite wine or cognac is going to be. He brings in, man, exclusive stuff. I'm telling you, it's so good. You ain't gonna never want to go to the store. You can't get it in the grocery store. You got to go back to Sam in order to be able to get your favorite wine or cognac. See, I'm a cognac person myself. He's got good cognac, so good it make you want to slap somebody. So definitely reach out to Port Again Sam. And the tip with Sam is buy cases at a time, because that way you won't run out. Because once you run out, you ain't gonna see no more of that no more. It'll be gone, and then you'll see the next vintage of the same thing, but not the last one. Okay? Prince Hunter Financial Group. Now, the Prince Hunter Financial Group is helping people to understand how to navigate through the stock market or the Forex market. You know, I gave a message on last week where I told them that the stock market got ripped off last week. Then I said, well, you need to talk to, Norman, the instructor, so he can explain to you how the stock market got ripped off. But people made money last week. People made a lot of money. And it don't take a whole lot of money to make a whole lot of money. But if you understand what's going on, what you're looking at, if you don't know, it's okay. They'll teach you. He's an instructor that will take you whatever your skill level and help you navigate through the understanding of the stock market so you can make financial wealth and financial freedom for you and your family. Now, let me tell you a story. Prince Hunter Financial Group is offering a promotion. If you tell them you heard about it here on this show, he's offering 4 free classes. Okay? 4 free classes. Out of those 4 free classes, you'll be able to get some understanding of something you never knew about. And if you're a person that knows everything about the market, then you can pick his brain to increase your knowledge that much more. Okay? So click on the banners, go over to the website, set up an appointment, get your 4 free classes, and you'll be good to go to understand what's going on in the stock market. Okay? Great stuff. You don't want to miss out on an opportunity. And let me throw this out there. If you're interested in being an advertiser for the show, reach out to me. Just hit me up, say, hey, man, I like what you're doing over there, and I want to be a part of it. Can I get an ad? And of course you can. I'll set you up, bring you on the site, and help you become an advertiser for all of our shows on all of our networks. Okay? So like I told you before at the beginning, we've got a great guest today, and he's got a great story for us to tell us about today. And I'm so excited over the opportunity that he took time out of his busy schedule. Now, it's the first time, being on the show. So I'd like to welcome you to the show for the first time, Mr. Michael Blair. Welcome to the show, brother.
What's up, Dr. Ron? Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Man, it's my pleasure. We did a special show with him a couple of weeks ago. I think it was a couple of weeks ago on Street News Now. He had an event coming up where he's working with young people, but I'm sure he's going to get an opportunity to tell us working with young people in what way. So, Michael, tell us about yourself a little bit.
Oh man, I'm from the South Side of Chicago. Went to Thornwood High School. From Thornwood, I went to Ball State University. And from Ball State, I played American football, ran track, had the opportunity to play in the NFL. And then after the NFL, I was trying to figure out what can I do? That's the age-old story, like, is this the only thing that you can do? And absolutely not. So then I got into acting. I started doing commercials. I did some movies. We Are Marshall.
And his phone just rang or something. So y'all stand by 1 second. He's coming back on. There you
About
come.
that.
There
Sorry
you go.
about
That's okay. I say your phone must have rang or something. Go ahead, keep going. We Are Marshall. I remember that movie. Yeah.
that. Matthew McConaughey and The Rock, with the game plan with The Rock. So then after that, I went to the Travel Channel. I was a host of the Travel Channel. That was amazing. Went to 8 countries. Spent a week in each country. Uh, Traveled. We had to learn the history, talk about it, things of that nature. And then I was like, okay, do I want to be a starving artist, living out of my car? You know, the whole story. I said, no, let me go ahead and do something with the experience that I already have, which is working with uh, kids from the age of 3 months all the way to high school. So then I got into substitute teaching. From substitute teaching, I became a licensed teacher, and now I teach early childhood education,
Okay.
which is basically teaching high school kids about babies, infants, toddlers, and school age kids, right? And then letting them know that by law they're still a child. So no matter
Mm-hmm.
how grown they want to be, you know, the law has put these protections in place for them uh, to give them by definition a child, and they're always developing. And then after you tell them that, then it doesn't sound so bad that you know when people call you a child. And so now in my well, I did bobsled for Jamaica. So I came out of retirement, or I like to say dormancy, and then 2016, 17, uh, became an Olympic hopeful doing bobsled for Jamaica. We didn't qualify for the 2018 Olympics, but I would never trade that experience. And at the age of 42, I was out there getting it in. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah,
Bobsled in Jamaica. They made a movie out of that, didn't they?
they did, but that was in '88. Those guys
Okay.
88. I was a freshman in high school in '88. So Jamaica, if you don't know, had a bobsled team. Like the song says, it's an island. Temperatures 85 degrees all year round. You get some rain, but you don't get any snow.
Right.
Right. For this island that doesn't get any snow, they have no business being out there in the snow. Just it's, it's the true resilience. It doesn't matter what the situation is or the circumstances. I'm going to go out there and put my best foot forward. I'm going to learn the sport, and I'm going to do the best that I can do. And I mean, the story alone for the Jamaican bobsled team is just it's a whole nother world, right? It's like everybody should live by that. Who says you can't do it,
Right.
right? Um, just that story alone leads me to who said you can't who said you can't
Right.
start school.
Right. 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 Yeah.
10 sports and vocational academy pops up, and it's where we train athletes and we give them a trade to work on, a vocation towards a trade, and then at the same time they play their sport that they want to play. And
Yeah.
the first sport we're going to play is American football, and then
Right.
the first trade we're going to use is personal training. And so now the athletes, they come to us, they as a senior, and then they reclassify so they can be recruited again. The portal, um, the COVID, everything suppressed the high school athlete. And so when I saw that, me and my buddies, we got together and we created this academy for these athletes so they can transition into college.
Yeah. I want to go back to, talking about you some more. We'll get to the academy in a minute. Now I understand, played on many different professional teams. So let's talk about that a little bit. I know you got a Saints shirt on. I jumped on you about that, before the air started. See, I used to live in New Orleans, y'all, so I'm qualified to jump on somebody with a Saints shirt on. So I jumped right on him. I mean, what you doing with the Saints shirt on? And then he told me he played for the Saints, so I eased up off of him a little bit because Saints fans are vicious. They are the best fans in the world.
Day, right?
So talk about some of your history in professional sports. We know you did bobsled, didn't qualify for the Olympics, but what are some of the positions you played and the teams you played for?
Right. So in '90, I played running back.
Okay.
Uh, 6'1.5", 220 pounds, 225. That was my playing weight. Um, so I played running back at Ball State, and then I went as a free agent to the Kansas City Chiefs my rookie
Mm-hmm.
year. And how the free agency works is the season starts up in January, February, March. In March, like March 8th, and you go to that team. So after the draft, you go to that team. Uh, you work out, you lift, you live, you do everything. You are officially, that's your job. Taxes are getting taken out. So when people taking tax out, you are who they say you are. So I was a chief.
Mm-hmm.
And then the season went by, or excuse me, the preseason went by, and then I got released for the first before the first game started. Then during the not the off season, during November, the playoff time, uh, Green Bay hit me up.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I went out there, and they say, "Hey, we like you." And then, boom, when the off season came, I signed with Green Bay, and I stayed there the off season throughout the whole year. Went to the playoffs, played against the 49ers. We didn't win. That infamous or famous, whichever one you want to use. The best game they say right now in 1998 for wild card games in the playoffs, right?
Mm,
So
okay.
Terrell Owens missed the ball, or he caught the ball. I wish he missed it, but he caught the ball in the middle of the field, and then that was the big to do because the whole game he was missing the ball, and
Right.
so and then 49ers beat the Packers. Now,
Right.
uh, during that stint with the Packers, I did get released, and the Bengals picked me up, and I was there for 3 weeks,
Okay.
and I Green Bay, and so that was '98. Then '99, the Cleveland Browns came back into the NFL as an expansion draft team. Um, so I was picked up in the draft for the Cleveland Browns as running back, and I was there the off season and the preseason, and a little bit into the regular season. Then I got released. Lived there, stayed in Cleveland for the whole year, thinking I was gonna get picked back up. Then I went to NFL Europe in 2000 in Germany, Frankfurt, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Came back, yeah, NFL Europe. It's Frankfurt Galaxy. That was the name of the team.
Mm-hmm.
I came back '99. After that year, 2000, came back and I signed with the Saints.
Okay.
And I get, man, I I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't like it.
Okay.
I actually stayed in Metairie,
Okay. Outside of town.
right outside of town. I don't like living too far from the facility.
Okay.
So I used to go to the zoo every Saturday.
Audubon Zoo.
Yes, every Saturday there's a barn right next to the zoo, and I used to ride Texas Walkers every Saturday and Sunday. Right after practice, go out there and ride the horses.
Okay.
Uh, but the reason I didn't like New Orleans is because in my head I'm thinking, island Caribbean,
Right.
all
Right.
not
Right.
that.
Yeah.
French quarters. It's Creole.
Cajun.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
all of that, all
Yeah.
mashed up.
Cajun, Creole. Coon asses. All of that. They got name. They got names for everything that go on down there. Yep. Yeah. For true. All of that. Yep.
And it just because I didn't know.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
But now I really appreciate it. I mean, the older I am, I really appreciate everybody's culture. Everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not like non-cultural individual. I mean, my parents are Jamaican, right? I'm a Jamaican citizen now, not born there, first generation American. So I understand what culture is,
Hey man,
and
you better not let them know where you at, cause ICE might knock on your door, man.
I know, right? I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, dang.
You better not let them know where you at, man. Cause ICE will come get you, man, and you won't be able to get back. Okay,
No,
that's the latest thing in the news, boy. Whew. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. I'm hearing your history and your adventure, because I call it an adventure life. What kind of psyche do you have to have to be a professional athlete and to be, moving from city to city, town to town, Europe, all of those kind of things. What kind of how do you have to keep your psyche together?
You have to have strong. It for me, it was the people around me.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie. I can't take 100% of the brunt or the strength behind it. My dad, I was blessed to have both my mom and dad growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad passed when I was in college. So all the stuff that my parents gave me, my dad gave me on resilience, on standing on your own backbone, on not being afraid to fail, embracing failure. My parents used to tell me all the time, um, as long as you're not illegal, going out there doing illegal stuff, bringing shame to the family name, and trying to harm yourself, you can go out there and do anything that you want, and we'll love you the same. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, I can go out there and fail miserably, and then I can still come back home. And it was like, yeah, your room is always home is home. Your room is there for a reason, right? And I
Uh-huh.
was like, this was told to me in high school. So if this is being told to me in high school, uh, man, the 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 outreaches of the world is unlimited,
Right.
right? You can go as far as you can go, and then come back battered and beat up.
And
It was
start
like
all
Batman.
over again.
Start
It's-
all over again. Batman got beat
yeah.
up pretty bad. Then he went up into the Shaolin monks. They done healed him
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's what home was to me. And so because of that, every team that I went on, I didn't go on there to get cut. I went on
Right.
there to make. So then after I got cut two, three times, I was like, now it's time. I'm trying to prove a point, but now I'm starting to take it personal.
Right.
And Mike McCarthy, who was with the Chiefs, who was with Green Bay, just was with Dallas. I'm not sure where coach is now, but he said to me, he says, Blair, man, he said, look at what you have done. I was like, Coach, I haven't done anything. He was like, come on now. He said, how many teams have you been on? I said, five. He said, there's people out there that want 5 minutes.
Mm.
5 minutes in the stadium. We're not even talking about being on the team. They just want to be in the stadium. And you've been on a team, you've been practicing, you've been out here doing your best and all those kind of things. And he said, so don't take that for granted.
Right.
And that stays with me forever.
Right.
So, you know, so like I said before, the people around me, my friends would, because I was depressed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Like, somebody tell you that you can't have Snickers no more. Like, no, 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 no. I want my Snickers. Can I have my Snickers? Can I have my Reese's? Right? And they're
Snickers,
like,
bro.
oh, candy anymore.
Yeah.
Goodness, man. And
Yeah.
so the people around me would say, hey, you are still who you are to us. We still love you the same. There was no wavering on their part. There was not one person that was like, because you don't have anymore, that you're less than who you are.
Right.
And that confirmation just grounded me and kept me humble. You know, all the accolades that I have done,
Mm-hmm.
All State Lifetime Achievement Award, Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, making an Olympic team, all these accolades. And in my head, I can just hear my father saying, "The humblest calf gets the most milk."
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right? So it's always it's the people who I meet who just keep you
They
grounded.
put it in you, so it just kept you stable. Yeah. Now let me ask you a question because I know playing professional sports has a certain wear and tear on your physical body. So
Hmm.
how have you been able to maintain that through all of the activities that you've been through?
Right. So um, well, I say at an early age, but it's more like they take care of your body in college.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of it in high school, but then when you get to college, they start to take care of it more. And then it's your responsibility. I felt like it's your responsibility to understand what it is that your body can do, and how can you take care of your body. It's like a vehicle, like a car.
Right.
And so I would always ask questions. How can I? How can I? And then there are resources out there that show you how can you repair your body to get it ready for the next practice, the next game, the next season. And so when you get to the pros now, it's on a whole nother level of how you take care of your body. When I was in New Orleans, I used to go to this place that had hyperbaric chambers.
Mm-hmm.
It's oxygen pumped into your body. You get oxygen in your nose, and you can sleep in there for 45 minutes. We have five, and I might be off, but I'm trying to be as close as possible. We have 5 pounds of oxygen on our bodies as we walk around, right?
Okay.
When you go in this hyperbaric chamber, it's 5 pounds per inch
Mm.
of your body. Oxygen is pumped into you. So when you get oxygen pumped into you, your body's like, when you get this oxygen pumped into you, it expels the toxins. And then now
Gotcha.
you only have oxygen inside your system.
Gotcha.
But when you come
And
out of that thing,
oxygen is a healing property.
oxygen is a healer property, yes.
Yeah, I
So
gotcha.
you get educated, you learn, and you get massages. You have the money for it. You see the best doctors. You see the chiropractors. They're always putting your body back together. One game is equivalent to a 40-mile-an-hour head-on car collision. So when your spine is in this position and you
Woo.
get hit, look, when you get hit, it does this. It goes like that, right? And then it stays like that. And then when you get hit again, it might do this. Then it stays like that. And you get hit again, it's like this. So your body, your spine can be all jagged up and twisted up down to your hips.
Right.
So unless you chiropractor and they, relax the muscles and straighten you out,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be walking around twisted. So you need to make sure you get these resources to have you straighten up. We were talking about earlier, like working out, right?
Right.
I want to be able to. I'm 50. At the age of 51, I want to be able to, or even right now, if I fall on the ground, I want to be able to get back up.
Good luck with that for
Come on.
me. If I fall, look, if I fall, I'm calling 911. Please come get me. Shoot, bruh. It ain't nice. But I'm 60. Okay, almost 70 years old. That's a big difference. I just be glad when I fall, I don't hear nothing snap.
I'm gonna try my best to just keep working out.
Yeah.
It ain't
Look, only thing I can say is tuck and roll, man. Learn that tuck and roll, man. That tuck and roll is a good thing, man. That way it ain't all on one impact. Boom. Okay? So, at 50, because you said it a couple of times, what do you rate your physically? I know it ain't a word, but what would you say your physical situation is right now? You still think you're at the top, the middle, average?
uh because I haven't done anything, my average is always gonna be better than average.
Gotcha.
And that's not me. That's I'm just blessed with that, right?
Gotcha.
So um I'm just above average because I haven't done anything. So now I have to go start back up. This is what I'm doing now since school's about to be over. Start back up so I can be able to like uh you work in education, these kids start fighting, you got to run down the hallway.
Absolutely.
Or I got to be in some kind of shape to help out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to be able to neutralize the situation. And it's funny you should say that. When I moved back to Chicago in early 1990s, I worked at a special ed school, and we had every age, all the age group, every group, all the way up to high school, seniors and all. And some of these kids, they used to get bused into the school, but the older kids, were always into it because there was always a different gang, different neighborhood, And of course, my job was behavior manager supervisor. So teachers would piss kids off so they can send them to my room so they can get them out of their room. And now I got to put them back in the box after the teacher then got them out of the box. So I understand when you say if the fight breaks out, you got. So I got to always run towards the situation back then, you know, and take guns off of kids, knives off of kids. Oh, it was rough back then. In the '90s, yeah,
Yeah.
it was rough, man. We had like third, fourth generation crack, teenagers. They wasn't babies no more. They were teenagers. They mom and daddy was straight up crackheads, and they would come to the school because at that time the Chicago Board of Education decided they would cycle kids out because they didn't want to have to deal with them. So they would put a designation on them. So now they got to find someplace else to send them, and we were the place. So we had a lot of situations. But you made me think back, man. Man, the last day I worked on that job, it was so interesting. I had picked a kid up because he was acting up. And I just picked him up over my head and dropped him. Bloom. So when he hit the floor, he bounced and he started crying. Then the director walks in, and she walked in and she said, "What? Why is he crying?" I said, "He fell." I didn't say he fell from 6 feet. I just said he fell. So she grabbed him and babied him, took him into her office, and came back and said, "Mr. Ford, you ain't supposed to put your hands on it." I said, "I got notes in every one of my file cabinets from each one of these kids' parents that say if I need to check them, check them." But that didn't matter to her. She just wanted to, baby some kids. She said, "Well, we're going to have to let you go." I said, "Good luck. Goodbye." She couldn't even pay me enough money to want to stay in that school another day. And it was interesting when me and my assistant took over the school, they used to call the police every day, come down there to put fights out. After we took over, the police hadn't been there for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
So they had to go back to doing what they used to do because them teachers couldn't handle them kids. Them kids was grown, looked like grown people. You know what I'm saying? You know, so
Now
I,
we let
huh?
security deal with the kids, man. We don't even mess with them.
I was security. You understand what I'm saying? I was that guy, even back in the '90s. But let me ask you a question. I heard you mention this a little while ago. I heard through the grapevine that you recently, not too long ago, received a presidential lifetime achievement award. How did that make you feel? Tell us about that.
But here's the what I think is the joke. What I think is funny. When I got it, Tyrone Richardson uh, said to me, "Hey, there's this award. I received the award from Dr.Ron, and now I'm going to uh, nominate you." So I was like, "Okay, no problem." When I got the award, I still didn't understand the magnitude of it. I don't know, 10 years ago received Ball State Lifetime Achievement Award. So in my head, that's the level that I thought it was on,
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime Achievement Award. And then every time I mentioned it to somebody or somebody saw it on LinkedIn or Instagram, any of their social medias, and it would be their response to it was at such a high level. I said, let me look at this again. I'm like, this something must be wrong with me, right? So I looked at it again, and then now I don't. When I say it, it gives me goosebumps because it's the highest award, a civilian award that you can receive
Yes.
your services, right? Like we
Yes.
want to what do you call it? Community service work, and
Right.
everybody talks about that, but not a lot of people get rewarded on that, right?
Absolutely.
And it's done behind the scene, and so to be recognized with this award, it gives me a warm feeling, right? Yes, finally, all the things that I have done from day one of being a community service human being back from high school doing stuff all the way up until now, and it's being recognized with the Lifetime Achievement Award, the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award.
Absolutely.
Trust, trust me, it's like, thank you. And which
Yeah.
gives me motivation. How can I get it twice? You know, that kind of, so,
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not supposed the work is not supposed to stop. You know,
correct.
what got you to where you are is because of who you are and what you have in you to do. And you're right, Tyrone nominated you because he was nominated for the award. And I've been knowing Tyrone for a couple of decades now, and he's a good bro.
Hmm.
You know, he too was a professional athlete at one time, and yet his focus, just like yours, dealing with young people, trying to motivate them, trying to help them, trying to get the parents on track. You know, his organization, which I think you're a part of, feeds people. You know,
Hmm.
holiday, Christmas, you know, they go out and pass out. I used to tease them all the time. Now I don't eat meat. Okay,
Hmm.
I said, man, where my turkey at, man? You know, you riding around passing out turkeys. You ain't come by my house. You know, but
That's the name of his organization, and I support, and I'm a part of it as well. And we do every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, we going out there. Matter of fact, the whole year
right,
we finding somebody try to help them out.
yeah, and it's a beautiful thing, you know, and and you're right. The award is the highest civilian award you can get from an organization. You know, Bobby Rush told one of the recipients, he said, man, somebody must really like you because you got an award from the highest civilian award you can get from an organization in the community. You know, a community have to nominate you and then go through all the necessary steps in order to make it happen. You know,
Right,
so that means you somebody special. You know, when I first got one, man, it blew my mind. I'm like, huh? What? You know, so I know the feeling. You
right,
know, and I, you know, all the stuff I've been doing all my life, I didn't think nobody was even watching me. You
right,
know, yeah, I didn't think nobody was seeing me doing what I was doing, and I don't talk about myself at all. I just do what I do. You know, and it allows people to be blessed, and and mentoring. I talk about mentoring every show. You know, when you're mentoring people, that is a responsibility that you're mentoring them in the right way and in the right place. Because, if you're not, you can mess some folks up,
right.
So once again, I applaud you, man. All the work that you've been doing, all the services that you've been putting out there, and all the things that you've accomplished. Like you said early on, your parents always left you a place to come home to.
Right.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man, because, some folks don't have that.
Trust me, I know. I've been working in education for over 25 years, and I, yeah, when you sit down with parents, then they come in, they say, "Oh, you're coach."
Oh, you got another phone call. Stand by, y'all. He coming back on.
I'm
There he
sorry
is.
about
That's
that. Yeah,
okay.
they
That's
say, "Oh,
okay.
yeah, you're Coach Blair," and I say, "Yeah," and then they rattle off everything that they child that I've said to their child. Because whether we know it or not, teachers are mentors. Period. Right?
Right. Absolutely.
They look at us any kind of different ways, aunts, uncles, however they want to look at us. That's how they see us. And so I take that very serious because after that meeting, I realized that the things that I say to this child, they're holding on to it for the rest of their life,
That's right.
and they're going and they're telling somebody.
Right.
So you have to be very, very careful of what you say and how you say. Because,
Absolutely.
like you said, you can definitely pour uh, negative vibes, negative energy into these kids, and I am not trying to be on that side right there.
There
Just
you
the
go.
same love and energy that my parents gave to me. This is what I try to give to these kids. I mean, I don't. It doesn't matter who it is. Like if
Absolutely.
you are a stranger, if it's you, Dr. Ron, what you're seeing is what I've been taught. And
Yeah.
so because I see the positive out of that, That's how I just want to be around people. I don't. When
Right.
people say my name, I want them to smile. I don't want them to frown. So,
Absolutely. Now, early in the show, you talked about being overseas and many teams in the United States. Would you say that every coach that you ran into left something with you, on you, damaged you, good, positively? What would you say? Those experiences with the different coaches were.
oh yes, oh yes. Each coach brought something to the puzzle, brought something to the picture that you're looking at, right?
Okay.
Um, Mark Schottenheimer, great orator. Man, that man can, in practice, can speak before
You froze up. You still there?
practice. And
There you go. You froze up. Now, say that last part again. Something happened where your signal froze up. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Say it again.
okay, I was saying that each Marty Schottenheimer,
Okay.
right? He before practice, and the way that spoke would make you want to run through a building for this man. And it was just practice. It wasn't a game that we were about to play. And so that's one coach. Then I had a coach in high school. He was so detailed, Coach Hopper, the track coach, so detailed, so patient. And I saw the response, and so I took that skill set. And Coach Lester, I mean, this was my other high school coach, and the list goes on and on. Coach Campbell, Eric Campbell, who's at Michigan right now, the list goes on and on of their characteristic that I just sometimes a secret and sometimes just write out. You take a piece of that and you plug it into yourself because you are a product of every coach that you've
Absolutely.
passed.
Yeah.
Right.
Mentorship. I talk about that quite a bit. So, that being said, I know you have an organization, ntsva.org, that
Mhm.
you are organizing and applying all of your vast experiences and relationships with professional sports, collegiate sports, and now you're focusing that energy into young people on a different, never heard of type basis. Let's talk about that.
Right. So NTSVA, 9010 Sports and Vocational Academy. We play the game 90% mental, 10% physical. And so we use life skills basically to train the athletes. So you have uh, competitiveness and then you have confidence. Everybody can compete. Now, what level you're competing, that's something different. But when you have confidence, it's because you have experience with the competitiveness that will bring you up to confidence, right? So NTSVA, we take athletes, seniors who graduated from high school, who's been underlooked or overlooked, and we give them an opportunity to refurbish themselves. We give them an opportunity to get stronger, get faster, uh, gain more experience on intellect, on the know-how in the sport that they want to play. The first sport is American football, right? And
I've heard you say that a couple of times. Explain what you mean by American football versus.
football.
Okay.
So football, association football is what the United States calls soccer,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the truthful way to say it is American football.
Gotcha.
And you talk about soccer, you say football. Now, where the word soccer came from is the word association. So it's association of football. Um, it started out in Europe, made its way to Canada, came down to the United States, and the slang was to put ER on everything. And so it became a saucer. And by the time it came to the United States, uh, they dubbed it soccer. So you take off
Mm-hmm.
the A and the S and you take out TION, and now you got soccer. So this is why. And my dad played football, but not American football.
Gotcha.
And so this is why I said that. And I was in South America, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy asked me, "Where are you from?" I said, "America." He laughed at me. He said, "You're in America." I said, "You're right. I'm from North America." And then I had to be more specific. I'm from the United States. So just from that experience, then I started to say American football.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the NCAA gives you 12 months to transition into college. You can play a sport, a club, and as long as you're not taking any academic courses, your NCAA clock will not start. So that was the rules historically. What we did was that gap year slot, which is the year in between from high school to college, we put the institution in between there. And so now we help athletes uh, find the resource of we play NAIA, D2, and D3. We play their JV. So we play their JV team. What that does is it gives these athletes immediate college experience. And then from that college experience, they can decide, hey, I do have the ability to play. No, I don't have the ability to play at this high level. Um, okay, I'm just going to stick with my trade and I'm going to go off and be an x-ray technician. I'm going to be an electrician, dot, dot, dot. Or they say, hey, I do have the ability to play at a higher level. And then you have the D3, you have the NAIA and the D2 schools saying, listen, we just saw you, we just played you, we saw your film. Uh, Let me give you an opportunity to come play for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the school is all about. And it's going to be all sports, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
just American football. It's going to be track and field, baseball. It's going to be archery. It's going to be clay shooting. You know that clay shooting that you get scholarships for that?
Yeah. Yeah. Just like chess,
Yeah.
and other, golf,
Yep.
sports of that. Everything that's considered a sport that, there could be an Olympic sport or non-Olympic sport. They still call it a sport. And then I remember. I'm gonna ask you this question. I already know you know the answer. Did you know that Jim Brown sport was what is it with the stick and not rugby? Rugby was another of ball, but man, I can't think of the name of it now. But
Oldest sport played,
huh?
the oldest sport played in North America,
And
lacrosse.
lacrosse, right, right. Jim
Yeah.
Brown was a lacrosse player with the stick and the ball where you throw it. Yep, yep. I knew you knew it, And then he transferred over to American football, you
That's
know.
correct.
Yeah, but yeah, just a little useless knowledge from an old dude. But so your organization, I know it's still fairly new. We did a show with you before on Street News Now, and I know you had a weekend recruitment drive that came up. How is it looking? What do you need help with? Let's put a battle cry out there for people to get on board to want to support what you're doing. Now I know you got Tyrone, who's another former football player, and no telling who else you got behind the scenes. Because I know, people like beating up on folks, so they'll show up. They'll work you to death. Lord have mercy. I pity the child. But what else? Let's put it out there.
Right. Okay, so here's my cry. Uh, is getting the information out to the athletes. I am not, I mean, so the middleman to me is the football coach, the high school coaches. If we could just get them to understand that it's for the seniors who are no longer with them. So you can't do anything for them but try to get them into college.
Right.
So this is another way to get them into college. So the cry is to let everybody know that this uh, resource is there for seniors who are looking to find ways to get into college. or to continue their career in the sport that they want to play. And the fourth sport we're playing is American football. And of
Absolutely.
course, if you want to donate, you know, go to www.ntsva.org and contact us and let us know, and then we will reach out to you and get that set up for you.
Now, right now the focus is in the Chicagoland, Illinois area, or are you able to go to Ball State and do training? Or because I know you was out there last weekend, so tell us how that part works.
Right. So it's the institution is for anybody anywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're from Jamaica, we had a kid uh, 3 years ago when I was with the other program, um, came up and played with us for 2 weeks and got a scholarship to play in college.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are, right? If you want to play American football, um, Texas, Canada, New York, Minnesota, Florida, Seattle, Arizona, right? The four corners, and then even in the middle. You just contact us and we get it squared away because we recruit. We recruit just like colleges, um, because basically that's what we are, right? We recruit the kids, we let them know about the opportunity, and then they come and play with us. The coaches, 90% of the coaches are former NFL players, um, and 100% of the coaches are former college athletes. So we understand the system, we understand what it takes to play, and just like if you have a mentor who's been there already
Mm-hmm.
and then show you the way, it puts you in a better position to be successful. This is no different. We're just being a resource for these young guys and girls who want to play to put them in a better position to be successful.
Yeah, that's outstanding. So now, one more question about your program. Do you have agents to refer people to or not?
Right now, no.
Okay.
We don't, not, our our focus is if you come to us, we're trying to get you into college. If you come and you have an NIL deal and things of that nature, what we do is we help you with the business. How do you run business? How do you become a CEO? How do you understand? Because that is a real deal thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
NIL, uh, just the whole business of college itself. It's a different beast.
Right.
So agency with agents, that's That's the other program. That's 90/10 Sports, the LLC, where we deal with managing professional athletes and things of that nature.
Okay.
But no, not in 90/10 Sports and Vocational Academy. We just help athletes transition into college. We help them understand what it is that they're doing and give them a leg up on fixing their social media, using the mentorship aspect along with getting them to where they need to go.
Got you. Now, I think this is kind of important. You need to talk about. You mentioned it to us on the other program. You help them with their films and their reels. So talk about that right quick.
Yeah, so a lot of kids will get their film and send it off to the coaches, and it's all wrong. They they don't edit it to be exciting. Uh, they put the arrow in the wrong place. They put the arrow too late, so the play would start, and then before the athlete makes the play, the arrow gets pointed onto them. Coaches don't want to see that. They want to see you at the beginning of the play to see if you're standing correctly, to see when the ball snap, what are you looking at, to see when the ball snap, how are you moving from where from point A to point B and things of that nature. And so that film is very, very crucial. You ever you ever seen a trailer to a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Reason that you went to the movies because you saw the trailer?
Most of the time.
Okay, yeah. So this film that you put together for these coaches is a trailer into your career.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know when you mentioned that before, I wanted to revisit that. Because that's something that people may not even think how important that is. But now that you said it, they're probably, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So actually, man, that's important. All that you all do for them. Yeah.
Mm.
Now, one more last question: do you have scholarship programs for them, or they got to come with big pockets? What?
Uh, the the uh the mission, the mission is for every athlete to be scholarship in.
Okay.
That is the mission,
Okay.
right?
Good.
So, but there is a tuition.
Okay.
If you really want to come to us, there is a tuition. And so, yeah.
Anything you want, it's got to have a value to it. It's got to be
Exactly.
important to you, and it's got to be worth the money you spend. All right. So look, man, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on board and talk about everything that you're, doing and or futuristically going to do. Thank you so very much. It is an honor and a privilege, to know you and know all that you're doing in our community and around the world. Usually before I close out the show, I always have several questions that I like to ask my guests. The first question is, will you come back and see us again?
Of course.
You have to get it on tape, man.
Of course.
People say, "Oh yeah, I'll come back off the air," but I got it on tape now. I got you locked in. One of the other things I want to ask you: did we get a chance to talk about everything that you wanted to talk about?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good.
Of
So
course. Well,
look. I must be pretty good then. I got it all out of you. You know. Um, and the last question is that I always like to ask my guests is, what would you like to leave with the people on today before you get out of here?
mm, man, it's so much. Um, all right. Well, I'm gonna leave with what I tell myself um every day, and that is it's um the people around you. Whoever you meet is the most important person that you'll ever meet in the world. So with that, those 3 seconds or 3 minutes that you're with them, treat them as such.
Very good. Very profound. Spoken like a true philosopher. Once again, my brother, I want to thank you. I appreciate all that you do and all that you're doing. Keep up the great work. You stay right there. I'm going to go ahead on and end the show. I want to invite you guys to join me on tomorrow, right here on Street News Now, the Street News Now Network. We have every Wednesday. We have a noon report where we talk about what's going on in the world. Okay, we give it to you from our perspective. My brother Lee Michaels, my co-host and brother in broadcasting. We like to bring it to y'all straight, no chaser. All right, and I want to invite you guys each and every Saturday to join me each and every Saturday from the desk of Dr. Ron, where I give you what's going on in my world. Okay, so you don't want to miss out on that each and every Saturday at 12 noon right here on the network. Also, I want to thank all those that have made contributions and donations up to this point in time. Thank you so very much. These are all the places where you can make donations and contributions. Just keep doing it. I can't do it without you guys. If you don't contribute, then it's very difficult for me to keep up all this great work. So please make contributions and donations, and we'll put it to good work. And while you're here, please subscribe, like, and share. Please hit that button so that you can be aware every time we go live. Okay? So I hope you all got something out of the show today. Thank you so very much. I look forward to seeing you guys on tomorrow. Thank you so very much. And I just want to leave you with this. I love you, and ain't nothing you can do